Honorable educator, fellow debaters, and all of the audience, we are all citizens where we live in a certain country and we want to feel entertained because humans, especially humans, we have that feelings that we want to be entertained of something that will make us feel happier, that will really helps us to what we do in our daily life, especially when we are in our bad situation or not in a good situation. And today's motion is about this House will not support the president to ban TikTok in the US as the opposition. And I would like to talk more about an application. An application fundamental purpose is to entertain people, to help people feel doing something creative. And of course, the apps itself comes from different kinds of apps. For example, like social media, or for example, like chat apps like WhatsApp, Line, and etc. For Line and WhatsApp, for example, we are talking about Line. For example, Line is an application that we use to make communication easier for between countries. For example, like you are in Indonesia and your friends is in Australia or in China. It would make us contact, for example, for chatting easier, also video call and voice note. There's many different applications that helps us in the purpose of helping. And other than chatting apps, there's also Facebook apps. For example, like we can share our photos there, or we can talk about Instagram, where we can share our photos. There's there's comments. We can social interact between different countries. We can find even friends, close friends or best friends in the application. And in this case, TikTok, for example, TikTok itself, the purpose of TikTok itself is to entertain people, to make people creative in creating something new that will attract more people, notice your existence, and also will likes you, will make you feeling happy, and you also in feedback you give them something to laugh or something to entertain them. And in this case, I'll like to rebut the government stated about the first government stated about TikTok is owned by Chinese company called End Up in Chinese. For example, as I've said before, apps is owned by a certain individuals that works in an organization with different purposes. And TikTok itself, the purpose is to make people easier to interact, getting more close friends, and to entertain. That is the purpose of TikTok. So the TikTok itself is not owned by the Chinese government. It's owned by a certain individuals in a company. So it's not owned by the government. So it doesn't really, you can say that because of it's owned by, for example, Google. Google is owned by the US. We use Google. We give information for Google to feedback us by giving us user-friendly experience or make it us more comfortable in using that application, because every people have different preference. We have what we want. We have different. So the application itself is to fulfill our demand, what we need. By us giving our personal information, so they can give us what we wanted to make us feel comfortable by using their application. And the second point is about racist concern on censorship and the racist concern on censorship in Hong Kong. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happened in Hong Kong. This case is different, so we are not going to elaborate or talk more about these cases because it's not really related at all, because it's in Hong Kong. Now we are talking about China and US. And now I'm going to go with my government point. Is the first government state about TikTok stores data outside of China and it will resist any attempt. So by Beijing to seize the information. So as I've said before, application is owned by an individual's companies. It's not owned by the government. So if a government wants to seize that data, it's not likely possible because itself, every apps have its own regulation. It have its own rule. So application is owned by a certain company, not the government. And government cannot take that data from a certain company. It's not correct. And as stated, TikTok stores data outside of China, so it means that the data is not in China, so it will increase the chance of harder to get the data more. And the second is about the app explode in popularity in the US. Every apps have certain purpose. Its same purpose is to make the app itself booming. And TikTok itself shown or proof that it's a booming app that has been used by the US itself. The citizens is using it. Why? Because they feel comfortable in using it, and it make them more creative by creating more videos and also social interaction. especially during our status quo now about COVID-19. We are in the COVID-19 state where we cannot do social interaction, so we use TikTok instead because TikTok is comfortable. The users not only from US but also around the country, most of them use TikTok to entertain with different kind of entities of people having more relation in, especially during this TikTok or COVID state. So if you want to ban TikTok, it's likely not really supported by the citizen itself because the citizen itself have already been comfortable with this application. And the third point is, currently the president cannot cut the access, only limit the access. So about limiting the access, it's the same like what we did in Indonesia, for example. We are blocking the pornograph site, but we can break through that by using VPN from another country. So it's likely like wasting of money and wasting of time. As the best example is Indonesia itself, spending so much million of money and just to block that site. And what happened? The citizen use VPN to break through that site block. And furthermore, about the president cannot limit the access. The president cannot cut the access, only limit. What is the use of it? So the president now is making or wanted to buy the TikTok itself. We know that US is a strong country, not only in the military but also in the economy. It's an advanced country that can buy almost everything in this world, especially TikTok. TikTok is easy for them to buy. And the President Trump himself stated that he would buy TikTok in around 45 days. The Trump itself give this task to certain individuals 45 days to buy the TikTok. And when this president or when the US own the TikTok, what will happen? The TikTok itself will not be banned. It's only changing the owner of the TikTok. So this motion is about this house will support the president to ban TikTok to ban. And if the president itself wanted to buy TikTok, so the possibility that the president will ban the TikTok, it's likely not even there. There's no chance that the president will ban it, but instead the president will own it. So the data and all the arguments from the government will be invalid. And until now, we believe that this house will not support the president to ban TikTok, but to change ownership instead. That's all from us. Thank you.